Running a multi-rotor FPV race with more than 6 competitors requires more than a pencil and paper for things to go smoothly, and GoDroneX has a solution that'll help you out. My name is Greg, and I run FPV tree racers based out of Chicago, and we're a member of the GoDroneX Drone Sporting Association. Now, let's talk about some of the problems that you have if you're running an event. As an organizer, first, you have to organize races into multiple rounds of heats. You have to manage throughput. And by throughput, I mean number of racers per hour. We need to record the results. We need to manage their points. We need to manage frequencies. We need to handle multiple race formats, and we need to communicate that information to our competitors. That's key. We also have to handle the unforeseen obstacles that can totally throw all of our best plans into the wastebasket. So we have to be able to change on the fly. From a racer's perspective, here's what they want. They want to know what round, what heat, they want to know what frequency they're going to be on, and they want to know specifically when their frequency's got to change. They want to know their score, and they want to know how they rank amongst the fellow competitors at the end of each round. First thing we do, racers come out, and you got to be able to change your frequencies. So, what we recommend our racers to do is, the easiest way is one of these little solutions. These where you can do push buttons, and then these LEDs will show up, 3, 4, 3, 6. It'll be the frequency and then the band or the channel. That's a great way. Just 2 little push buttons and those change. You might have seen, here's the receiver end of those, which is really good. Once again, just simple pushing buttons back and forth works great. Here's the simple solution. You drill a little hole in the top of your plate. Your video transmitter is taped underneath, and there's some dip switch settings so people can switch those in the field. What we ask our racers to do is they have to be able to change to at least three frequencies. And as you can see, we also hand this sheet out. We create these brightly colored, color-coded frequency tags, just like the good old 72 megahertz days, where they have the golden channel, color-coded 34, 42, whatever, the frequency band that they would push in their goggles and or their video transmitters, and also the frequency for references. If you think about frequencies, you really never use frequencies. Nowhere do you enter a frequency. You just use that frequency to find out your dip switch settings or your FR bands. So what we're saying is ignore it. Give them a quick reference sheet that says, hey, you're on 9, and here's your dip switch settings for 9. It's a lot easier for someone to go and say, hey, what do you want? You're on 9, here's your dip switch settings, rather than say, oh, you're on 5800 or 5860. So we just found that's an easier way to do it. Less numbers for them to memorize, keeps the races moving. Remember, we got to move 30 racers an hour. Another thing, let's say they lose this. Not a problem. On the back, we have the dip switch settings for their video settings for that golden channel assignment. Everything's color-coded. So now, visually across the field, if we've got 3 heats of racers, I'm going to hand out 3 of these numbers. If I'm assigning 3 people to 16, I've got 15 people, 3 rounds of 5. I'm handing 3 of these out before the round starts. People can manage their frequency conflicts that way, and then you can quickly look across and see color is easier to identify. That's why your batteries are red and black and not plus and minus, right? That's why we color code. The eyes can handle color a lot easier than they can with numbers. Okay. Now let's go take a look at the software solution. Okay, now here's the heart of the whole solution. It's the spreadsheet with lots of formulas, and it resides in the cloud. So let's talk about how to use it. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to enter in the number of competitors. 6 to 20 is what we currently allow for right now, but it can be easily expanded for more. What this does is it will look up a table and generate random numbers for heat assignments. If you want to use different formats, that's great. You can override anything you want. You set up your points for your results. Since we really can't have more than 6 people racing at a time, we set up 6 different scores. First place is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Anything with the shaded blue means that's user entry fields. So it says right here, user entry in blue cells. So if, let's say, you wanted to reward the first place finisher more than the second place finisher, I could type 6 in. For our example, I'm going to type in 5. Number of competitors. Let's say we're going to have 9 competitors. The best way to run 9 competitors and to move the most amount of throughput through your track would be heats of 5 and 4. Now, in case to allow for a late person to show up, it's best if I just put in 10 now and only use 9 racers when I key them in. Now let's enter in race information. As people come in, you'll assign them a pilot number, and you'll effectively just key their names in to these spaces. As they come in, you're going to ask them, what frequencies can they change to? we expect everybody to go to at least 3 frequencies. If they're immersion, we use 6, 9, and 12. Our golden channels is what we call them. If they're boss cam, 1, 4, and 16. We also have a space for low frequency and another extra space. So this gives you complete flexibility for up to 8 frequencies. So Greg comes in, he's on boss cam. Let's give him 1, 4, and 16 because he can change his frequencies. So there we have the background automatically changes to the color codes. Carlos comes in, he's on immersion. He tells us, yes, organizer, I can go 6, 9, and 12. Rudy's the same way. Keith is the same way. Let's say Kevin comes in and he says, hey, I got a 32 channel receiver that I can get to all those. So we put him in for yes. If someone was a low frequency guy, we would just put yes into this L field. Because again, I've got color-coded frequency tags that have yellow for 1, orange for 4, red for 6, purple for 9, blue for 12, green for 16. I've got a low frequency, and I've got a blank white one that I could use for get me out of a jam situation. So color coding it will match here to what I'm doing in the real world. Over to the right here are the results of what round they will get assigned to, or what heat. So in round 1, heat 1, these are the assignments that are going to happen. That's a function of how many competitors I type in. Now watch, I'm going to key in 12 and you'll see these change. So watch, I'm going to type 12. As soon as I hit enter, the random number generator will reassign these. Boom. Now, since we have 12, we're going to run 3 heats, and you can see heat A, heat B, and heat C. Very flexible, and you can override all that. Let's go back and return those to 10. Now, here's the sweet thing about this. There's another sheet out here that shows everything a racer wants to know. It has their frequencies, which we haven't assigned yet, but we will do shortly, and the heat they're going to run in. And it also shows the heat points and the ranking, but we haven't started any racing and haven't recorded any racing yet, so let's go ahead and get that done. Now let's come over and start round 1. First thing we're going to do is we're going to want to assign some frequencies. So here's our round 1. So I've got a set of frequencies without conflicts. Okay, here's 3 guys. I always start with my constraints. So anybody who's on only 3 frequencies, I start with them, and then I backfill in with anybody who has 32 channels. So right now I only have 1 boss cam guy. I'm going to put him on 1. I've got 3 of these guys on immersion. Immersion is 6, 9, and 12. So I'm going to just start 6 and 9. And now I like to create as maximum separation as possible. I'll go 16 and 12. So now what I have is I have a visual piece of information to look up and down, and this is really useful when you're managing conflicts. So let's go ahead and set up the next frequency. So here we have 2 people on immersion, 1 on boss cam, and 1 who's got 32. So again, I start with my constraints. Let's start with assigning 6. Let's give the next person 9. And here I've got a boss cam. Let's put him on 1, and let's put this guy, Terry, on 16. Great. 4 people racing, no conflicts. Let's go ahead and assign the next round of frequencies. Now what's nice about this is we carry over color-coded their previous rounds of frequency. The goal is to not change people just for the sake of changing them. If we can, let's keep them on the same frequency and keep our throughput, i.e. the number of people we can move through the race as best as possible. 10 hasn't shown up yet. Oh, let's say 10 did show up. So let's say we have our Johnny come lately. Let's, matter of fact, call him Johnny. He comes in with a boss cam 8 channel, and I can see what they previously were on. First thing I do, I type in 16, I type in 12, because I don't have conflicts there, and I want to keep them. Now I've got 9 and 9. I have my first conflict. They're both on this channel, and as you can see, I've already tied up 12, but the good news is I'm just going to reassign this guy to 6, and I'm going to give Rudy channel 9. So I've had the first person change. Got to get Johnny in here too. Let's give him 1 since he's on boss cam. Boss cam's 1, 4, and 16, and there we go. Okay, notice his was blank because we didn't assign him a frequency. He came in for the second round. Let's just do 3 rounds. This little number right here shows us how many times we've had to request that racer to change. We don't want to inadvertently make the same guy change his frequency over and over and over again. He's going to start to complain. And I've got a conflict here between Johnny and Damien. Now, Johnny's already changed his frequency once. See that there's a number 1 there. So that means this time I'm going to ask Damien to change his frequency. As I visually look down this list, I can see that I've already tied up 16. So what are my choices here? Well, obviously one's going to be taken. Let's go give one to Johnny. And that leaves me only one other option left for Damien, and that's 4. So I'm going to give him 4. Now let's go back and look at the racer's point of view, and they'll be able to see this on their smartphone, and I'm going to demonstrate that in a moment. I can see before the race even starts, my first race is frequency 1, and I'm in heat A. My second round, I have to change my frequency, so I know that before the day starts, and I will go to heat B. On round 3, I'm in frequency 16, and I'm in heat A round 3. And you can see that as well. All this has been designed to fit on a smartphone. Now let's go ahead and run the races and assign points and see how that works. Racers 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the finish order. You just key those in on your smartphone, and it'll update the points. And where do these points come from? Right here. If I make this 6 for first place, now first place is assigned 6 points. Second, third, fourth. Oh, we have a DNS. Did not start or do not finish, 0 points. And there's a lot of formulas in here to make it user-friendly and not have all those goofy pound signs, all those type of errors that you get in cells. We put a lot of coding in here to remove those. So there's a lot of edit conditions, which makes it smooth. We got about 60 hours into this spreadsheet, just went through several iterations. And I'm sure it'll go through a few more iterations again. Remember, this screen layout has been designed, this area, to sit on a smartphone. Let's go ahead and enter the results for race 2. So now what happens is we jump over to the racer's point of view. Remember, they get to see access to this screen since that's all they care about. So now that we can see that through round 1, Greg got 6 points, 4 points, 3 points, and so on and so on. So through round 1, here's our rankings. So here's round 2, heat A. So now that round 2's done, we're going to make this number right here and change it to 2 and watch the rankings here. So right now, let's watch the current positions are 1, 3, 5, 7. The moment I update it to round 2, click, see how the places have changed because now we have information that we're taking into effect for round 2. Now let's go and see what it looks like for the internet. Okay, now let's see how we're going to get this out into the cloud. So you download Google Sheets. I've already clicked it, and I brought up my version of Google Sheets for FPV tree racers. I've already loaded an old one out there, so I can click on it, and up comes the version. It converts automatically to Google Drive format. So here it is. Now this is in the cloud. This is not on my computer right now, so we're real time. And one thing about Google Drive is it's real time. So if I update something here, everybody else who has access to this sheet can also see it. And see, now we would invite racers to share this. I'd click share. Up comes a screen. I would key in somebody's email address, and I would say they can edit it or they can view it. Well, for the racers, I would say they can view it. Now I'm going to go and switch to my smartphone so you can see what it looks like from their perspective. I've gotten an email to invitation to view the spreadsheet. Now remember, it's on the cloud now in Google Drive. I click this button. I hit show messages. I'm going to click this button. I've already downloaded Sheets to my smartphone. This is the racer's view. So I can expand this so Tim can see he's on frequency assignment 6, heat A for round 1, and all the way through the corresponding rounds. Tim also can see what points have been updated through what round. That's awesome. But now the other benefit of this is as a race manager, if I'm out in the field, I can change anything I want in the field. So if I want to change Tim's name, I click on that, I click here, and I'm going to go and rename. Tim doesn't like Tim, he likes Timothy. Fine, Timothy. There you have it. Now Timothy's been carried through. And then when Timothy looks at his information from the real world on his smartphone, he can see the word Timothy. Now, remember I was saying I'm going to manage rounds and heats. You can see everything I need for a race and a round I can do right here. So I can quickly change the points. Let's say I'm going to give that person, rather than have a DNS, I'm going to give him 5 points. Or he finished 5th, I should say. Click check. Great. Now that's been updated. So in the field, the colors here are working perfectly. I can do frequency assignments. Let's change Terry from frequency 1 to frequency 4. Now remember, I'm in the field right now. And in about 10 seconds, their phones will be updated with information. So there you have it. Okay, a few more words on the format. FPV tree racers, the style of racing we run is a cumulative method. And what that means is all racers run every round, and each race is a points race. So if I get assigned to a heat, I'm competing against the other guys in my heat. First gets points, second gets points, third gets points, and so on, all the way through the rounds. The benefit of that is everybody gets to race equally, no matter if you're really good or really bad. And while the spreadsheet does support elimination formats, single knockout, double elimination format, we found that accumulation method creates the most rewarding experience for all the racers. Let's go see how to get that information and use this solution. Okay, let's go download the spreadsheet and the associated materials to help you out racing. Go out to GoDroneX.com. That's the home of the association. Here you're going to see some great articles. If you get a chance, read them. We've got some event format pros and cons. We covered some of those. And I just got done talking about the accumulative method, which is our favorite method. Go out to resources. Here's a bunch of public resources. If you're not a member of the association, look through guidelines. These will help you run your own individual events. Obstacle course, Object Mania, Rotocross, and Grand Prix. They're all online, cut and paste, use as you will. There's a simple version of the frequency matrix. Now, if you are a member of the GoDroneX Association, we will set you up with access, and you'll be able to see this GoDrone leadership page. If you want to learn how to join the group, join GoDroneX Association, you click that. This will be visible to everybody, whether you're in the association or not. You click this button and you'll get a nice little form to fill out, and you give us a link and to your group, whether it be a Facebook page or what have you. Now, if you are a member of the association, you're going to see this information. So you'll be able to create articles, create events, create news, and then you'll be able to get access to information. All of those frequency tags, they've been created in PDFs. And here you can see, you can print them out. That's what the front and back looks like, so you can make your own. Here's that video transmitter quick reference, so you can click this and you'll quickly download that, and you can print out as many copies obviously as you want of that. And then here's the spreadsheet right here. This is for leaders only. This is a different version than what's found in the public site. Okay, there's a version there, but not with nearly the amount of logic and coding that went into it. So there you have it, a free cloud-based solution where you can communicate with your racers and run a race completely from a smartphone that is easy to use, handles the frequency issues that are unique to us FPV racers, and it's totally available if you're a member of the association. You want to be a member of the association? Just fill out that form. We'll give you a shout out. We'll talk to you a little bit, get you in the group. If you're not, we still have tons of free information available in the association under that resources tab. Now, go light it up.